Hello and welcome to VANIK-IAS. So, today is the time to discuss your current affairs sections. Like every day, today also I have divided the current affairs into two segments. One is here for MCQ and the other one is for main examination. So, first of all, I will go for your MCQs. If you look at question number 1, so if it says, recently Health Ministry launched a campaign Har Ghar Dastak 2.0. Har Ghar Dastak 2.0 is related to which of the following? Is related to which of the following? So, this is a factual question and the answer for the question number 1 is B, that is COVID-19. So, Har Ghar Dastak 2.0 is related to COVID-19. So, there are some extra 2 points you can just note down. This Har Ghar Dastak 2.0 was launched in 1st June 2022 and it was launched across the country. It was launched across the country. For what? It was launched across the country to ensure that all eligible beneficiaries receive complete COVID-19 vaccination. So, this program is aimed at giving complete vaccination to all, giving complete vaccination to all and related to your COVID-19, correct? Now, question number 2. Now, question number 2, this is also your factual question. And the question says, World Bicycle Day observed on which of the following date? It is asking the date, tarikh, about World Bicycle Day. And the answer to this question, World Bicycle Day, is observed on 3rd June. On 3rd June. That is option A is correct answer. So, there are some extra points. I request you to just note down. So, this year celebration on World Bicycle Day is the 4th annual Bicycle Day. This was your 4th annual Bicycle Day. So, just please note it down. Again, this idea was brought by Professor Leszek Sibilski, who presented it to United Nations General Assembly in New York in June 2nd, 2018. In June 2nd, 2018. Second point. Third point, you can write down that around the world on June 3rd, to honor the bicycle's diversity and individuality as well as its unique, durable and eco-friendly means of transportation, the World Bicycle Day is observed. Next point, you can just note it down that what was the theme of this year World Bicycle Day. So, question may also come from theme area. So, you can just note it down. The theme to this year was to celebrate the bicycle's originality, diversity and endurance being utilized for more than 200 years. For more than 200 years. Then go to question number 3. Question number 3. This is also your factual question. This is also one of your factual question. And the question is about, it says a renowned personality, Pandit Bhajan Sapuri, Pandit Bhajan Sapuri passes away is related to which of the following field? It's given option A, option B, option C and option D. So this answer to question number 3 is option A. Pandit Bhajan Sapuri was related with arts. Related with arts. So some extra points you can just note it down. So Pandit Bhajan Sapuri was an Indian instrumentalist. He was an instrumentalist. Please note it down. Instrumentalist. And he used to play santoor. He used to play santoor. He used to play santoor. What is santoor? An ancient musical instrument. Santoor is an ancient musical instrument. The extra point you can just note it down that Pandit Bhajan Sapuri got Jammu and Kashmir State Lifetime Achievement Award. He got Jammu and Kashmir State Lifetime Achievement Award in the year 2016. Hope it is clear to you. Some extra points, please note it down. Okay. Question number 4. Now come to your analytical question. So first we have to read the question. Which one is the question? This is the question. And these are the statements. I repeat, these are the statements. This is the question. So first read the question, then read the statements. Question is about select the incorrect statement using the codes given below. Okay. So now we will read the statement. Consider the following statements with regards to antimicrobial resistance. Antimicrobial resistance. Statement 1, it says who does not WHO, that is World Health Organization, does not define antimicrobial resistance. Okay, let's see. World Health Organization has declared that antimicrobial resistance is one of the top 10 global public health threats facing humanity. Okay, let's see. Statement 3, antimicrobial resistance is mainly caused by the overuse of antimicrobials. So we have to select the incorrect statement. So if you look at the statement 1, who does not define, World Health Organization does not define antimicrobial resistance. This is the wrong statement, because antimicrobial resistance and its definition has been defined by World Health Organization. Okay. World Health Organization has declared that antimicrobial resistance is one of the top 10 global public health threats facing humanity. This is your correct statement. Again, if you look at the statement 3, antimicrobial resistance is mainly caused by the overuse of antimicrobial. This is also correct statement. So answer to question number 4 is option A. Option A is your correct answer. Okay. Now let's go to question number 5. This is also a factual question that you need to remember the facts, that is the act and its year, name of the acts and its year. And question number 5, it's asking you the question is this is choose the correct answer using the codes given below. these are the statements. I repeat again, these are the statement area. Statements area. Okay, now we will go to statements. To give effect to Stockholm Conference 1972, which of the following acts are passed by Indian Parliament? Okay. So now see the statement 1. The Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981. Okay, this was passed. The Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1974. This was also passed. The Forest Conservation Act of 1980. This was also passed. So answer to question number 5 is option D, that is all of the above are correct. All of the above are correct. Okay. Now I will go to the question number 6. Question number 6. Question number 6. We have to first read the question, and question is here. Which of the above statements is or are incorrect? You have to underline it or you have to circle it. Which of the above statement is or are incorrect? So we have to find out incorrect statements. Now I will go to the statements. Statement 1 says any decision any decision of the GST Council requires a 3/4 majority or a minimum of 25 votes. Okay. Statement 2 says under Article 279 capital A, the GST Council has to make recommendations on various topics including the tax rate and exemptions. So if you look at statement 1, the statement 1 is your correct statement. That is, any decision of the GST Council requires a 3/4 majority or a minimum of 25 votes. 25 votes. Correct statement. Now statement 2, under Article 279 capital A, the GST Council has to make recommendations on various topics including the tax rate and exemptions. This is also your correct statement. Hence, if you look at the options, both 1 and 2 are not incorrect. So neither 1 and 2 are incorrect. It means both are correct. It means both are correct. Both 1 and 2 are correct. Option D, neither 1 nor 2 incorrect. Consider the following statements. Now question number 7. So first we will read out question number 7. First we will read out question number 7. This is your question. This is your question. Which of the above statement is or are correct? Which of the above statement is or are correct? Now I will go to the statement. Consider the following statements. Statement 1, the subsidies given to the farmer calculated as the excess of MSP over its international price is known as external reference price. External reference price. And statement 2 says developing countries are required to keep aggregate measurement of support below 10% of the value of agriculture production. Okay. So if we look at statement 1, this is the correct statement. That is, the subsidies given to the farmer calculated as the excess of MSP over its international price is known as external reference price. External reference price. This is your correct statement. If you look at statement 2, it says developing countries are required to keep aggregate measurement of the support below 10% of the value of agriculture production. This is also correct statement. Hence, answer to question number 7 is C. Option C is correct one. Now we will go to question number 8. We will go to question number 8. First we will read the question. Question is here. Select the correct answer. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. Okay. Now we'll go to the statement. Statement 1. Which of the following are incorrectly matched? Incorrectly matched. Windrush generation, British Commonwealth. Tamagotchi generation, digital offspring. So this is also correct. And this is also correct. So both are correctly matched. Both are correctly matched. So answer to this question number 8 is C and not, this is the wrong given. Answer to question number 8 is C and not D. Answer to question number 8 is C. Now we will go to question number 9, and this is purely factual based question, and the question is, which of the following pollutants are covered under the National Air Quality Index? National Air Quality Index. So PM10, yes, it is covered. PM2.5, it is also covered. PB also covered. So answer to question number 9 is D. That is, all of the above are correct. All of the above are correct. Now I will go to the question number 10. First we will read out the question number 10, that is, choose the incorrect statement using the codes given below. Okay. Now I will go to the statement. Question number 10. Statement. Consider the following statements about Rajiv Gandhi National Institute. Consider the following statements about Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth Development. Statement 1, it is a statutory institution. It is a statutory institution. Statement 2, it is an institute of national importance. Okay. Statement 3, it has been conferred, deemed to be university under de novo category. So if you look at statement 1, it is correct statement. Statement 2 also a correct statement. Statement 3 also a correct statement. Hence all three are correct. All three are correct, and if you look at the answer, it means nothing is incorrect. Nothing is incorrect, right? Hence answer to question number 2 is D. That is, none of the above are incorrect. None of the above are incorrect. Now I will go to your mains part, and I hope you all are noting it down, whatever points, extra points that I am telling here. Again, in this mains part also I will be little slow, and I hope from you that you will be noting down some extra points which are important for your main examination point of view. So we will move to main questions, mains part. Okay. This question is from health issues or health sector, and the topic, it is on antimicrobial resistance. Antimicrobial resistance. So, recently there was a meet or summit which met to discuss the topic of antimicrobial resistance, to discuss the topic on antimicrobial resistance. Okay. So, first we will come to know what is this antimicrobial resistance, and this, before going to define what is antimicrobial resistance, just I will say that the G7 meet was held in Berlin by G7 countries. Okay. And the meeting was held against antimicrobial resistance. Against antimicrobial resistance, it means it automatically comes to your mind that antimicrobial resistance is not a good thing, it is something negative. Let us see. So, whether it is good or bad, whether it is positive or negative, now we will define what is antimicrobial resistance and we will come to know how it is bad. So, if you look at the definition defined by World Health Organization, it defines antimicrobial resistance as, according to World Health Organization, I request you to write it down. According to World Health Organization, antimicrobial resistance is the ability of microorganisms like bacteria, viruses and some parasites to stop an antimicrobial from working against it. As a result, standard treatments become ineffective, infections persist and may spread to others. It means due to your antimicrobial resistance, that power inside is you, it becomes weak, and as a result of which the disease get affected. Okay. So, if you take the treatment, then also your recovery capacity becomes slower due to this antimicrobial resistance. So, now the question is why antimicrobial resistance takes place, or what are the factors that cause antimicrobial resistance. Okay. So, one by one I will see. The first point or the first factor which leads to causing antimicrobial resistance is antibiotic consumption. The consumption of antibiotic consumption. If you see, nowadays more people first they go for antibiotic. So, if you consume more and more antibiotic, then there is the possibility that antimicrobial resistance will occur and it will reduce your defending capacity to a disease. Second, so please note it down. The first point that is it is due to, or antimicrobial resistance is due to, point number 1, that is antibiotic consumption. Now, point number 2, this antimicrobial resistance is due to social factor, some social factor. Like inappropriate antibiotic use among the general public due to self medication. So, people generally go to the chemist and they will ask, please give me antibiotic, something is paining or something is happening. So, the chemist gives out an antibiotic, and because of that, the antibiotic consumption is increasing. Now, doctors are also compelled, whenever the patients go to doctors, initially they will tell to doctors that sir or madam, please give me an antibiotic. So this, there is a precondition among the patients, right? They have already decided that I'll tell to the doctor to prescribe me the antibiotic, and as a result of this, doctors are compelled by whom? Not by any others. It is by patients. It is by patients. It is by patients. As a result of this, the consumption of antibiotic is increasing day by day, and hence there is the possibility, there is the disease of antimicrobial resistance. The next point is that, you can just note it down, nexus between doctors and pharmaceutical companies. The next point is that nexus between doctors and pharmaceutical companies. You know that in economics, the company will produce that which is in demand in the market. I repeat, in economics, you know that the company will produce a product or a goods which is in demand in the market or in demand among the people. So, in the earlier 2 points we saw, so there is a precondition among the people, those who are going to the doctors, that doctor will give me a antibiotic, and they will compel to the doctor to prescribe your antibiotic. It means there is a high demand of consuming antibiotic among the people or among the masses, as a result of which the companies, the pharmaceutical companies, they produce in more number or the large numbers of antibiotic. So they have produced your antibiotic tablets or medicines. Now if it is not going to sold, then they will be in loss. So now the companies, they force to the doctors to prescribe, to consume your antibiotic, right? Consume antibiotic. As a result of this, there is a nexus between doctors and pharmaceutical companies to prescribe your antibiotic medicines, correct? Okay. The next point is antibiotics consumption in food animals. Antibiotic consumption in food animals. It means for the rapid growth of animals, generally they are given antibiotics for their rapid growth, so that we can sell them in the market in short period of time, and your expenditure will be less, and you will be maximizing your profit. Hence, the owner, those who go for farming of your animals, they give antibiotics for the growth of these animals. As a result of this, the antibiotics come into your food chain. Now this animal are given antibiotics. Now these animals will be consumed by people. So this antibiotics will going from animals to people through food chain. So this is again a problem. Now next point is poor sanitation. Poor sanitation. If you look at the sewage, it is directly open to your rivers and seas. So as a result of this, the antibiotics is consumed through food chain, and through this process your antibiotics is going to sewage, and the sewage is dropped into your rivers, right? So this is the poor sanitation. This also causes your antimicrobial resistance. antimicrobial resistance. So again I will repeat these points. I urge you all to please note it down or write it down. What are the factors that leads to antimicrobial resistance, right? The first factor is that there is high amount of antibiotic consumption. Next is social factor, and this social factor includes 3 points, that is self medication, doctors are compelled by patients, and there is nexus between doctors and pharmaceutical companies. Next, the third point is antibiotics consumption in food animals. So animals, for the growth of animals, antibiotics are given, now it is entering into the food chain. And the fourth point is about your poor sanitation. Due to poor sanitation, antibiotics becomes a threat to the people. I hope up to this it is clear to you. Now I will go to the challenges posed by antimicrobial resistance. So we will see now what are the challenges due to antimicrobial resistance. Now I will go to the challenges. Because of antimicrobial resistance, that it lowers your capacity to defend diseases. So challenges could be threat to successful treatment of infectious disease. If there is infectious disease, then it is very, very difficult to treatment it. First challenge, threat to successful, please note it down, threat to successful treatment of infectious diseases. Second, it causes out of pocket expenditure. The second challenge is that it causes out of pocket expenditure. It means you are taking medicines, but your inner power is lowered to defend it. So now whatever medicines you take, it will not cure you. So when you are not cured, you will be taking medicines. So you will be going more and more number of times to the hospitals and to the doctors. So expenditure will increase. So this is what it is saying. It causes out of pocket expenditure. The third challenge is due to your antimicrobial resistance is that neonates and elderly are prone to infections. Because of this, I repeat, please note it down. Because of this, neonates and elderly are vulnerable. Who are neonates and elderly are prone to infections, and elderly are prone to infections. Correct? Prone to infections. Now, these are the situations that we discussed. This is the problem, the biggest problem. But the question is there any solution? Is there any way forward to it? Yes, there is the way forward to it. So now, we will go to your way forward. or solution to it, or solution to it. Okay, so sorry, I did a mistake. So after this, I will go to the concerns of various concerns. What are the concerns? Concerns. What is the global concerns? Global concerns. If you see the concerns, the global concerns due to antimicrobial resistance is that, first of all, it is a according to World Health Organization, antimicrobial resistance is one of the top 10 global public health threats. It is to be noted that the World Health Organization has placed this antimicrobial resistance in the category of top 10 global public health threats. Public health threats. Public health threats. Okay. Second, the report says, according to World Health Organization reports, 7 lakh, there is 7 lakh death in every year. There is 7 lakh death in every year due to your antimicrobial resistance. This is your major concern. Secondly, there is a prediction that among scientists that 10 million annual deaths, it will lead to 10 million annual deaths and $100 trillion expenditure. 10 million annual deaths and $100 trillion expenditure by 2050. So this is the concern that if we are not taking care of antimicrobial resistance, then there is the possibility 10 million annual deaths and $200 trillion expenditure globally. So which is be great loss. The next point is, even though the problem of antimicrobial resistance is global problem, but low and middle income countries, I repeat, even though antimicrobial resistance is a concern of the globe, but if you look at low and middle income countries of Asia and Africa, it's even more serious. I repeat, even though it is globally affected and even though it is the global concerns, but low and middle income countries of Asia and Africa are severely affected by this antimicrobial resistance. This is the concern. Now we will see if there is the problems. First we looked at problems, then we looked at concerns. Now question is there any solutions to it, or is there any way forward to it? Yes, there is the way forward. Now we will look one by one the way forward or the solutions to it. So as far as way forward is concerned, is divided into two parts. One is your global level, way forward at global level, and second, way forward at India level. Okay. First we will go to the way forward by global level, that is how world level organizations are preparing itself to tackle antimicrobial resistance. Then we will see how our country or our government, that is India government, is preparing itself to tackle antimicrobial resistance. Okay. So if you look at global level, so there is global action plan on microbial resistance. Second, there is tripartite joint secretariat on antimicrobial resistance. There is tripartite joint secretariat on antimicrobial resistance. So tripartite joint secretariat has been established and is hosted by whom? World Health Organization, to drive multi-stakeholder engagement in antimicrobial resistance. So along with World Health Organization, there are the two other bodies, FAO and OIE. Second is that interagency coordination group on AMR, this antimicrobial resistance. It was convened by the Secretary General of the United Nations after the UN high level meeting on antimicrobial resistance in 2016. Okay. The IACG, that is interagency coordination group, brought together partners across the UN, international organizations and individuals with expertise across human, animal and plant health, as well as the food, animal feed trade, to formulate a plan for the fight against antimicrobial resistance. So again, there are the steps taken by the world level, that there is the World Antimicrobial Awareness Week. Then there is Global Antimicrobial Resistance and Youth Surveillance System, GLASS system. Okay. So this can also be asked in a preliminary examination, this point. So World Health Organization launched the GLASS in 2015 to continue filling knowledge gaps and to inform strategies all levels. Okay. Then country-wise, then global antibiotic research and development partnership is going on to tackle antimicrobial resistance. Okay. Then different countries, respective countries also taking steps to control your antimicrobial resistance. Okay, like Peru, Australia, Denmark, etc. Now we will see way forward by India. Way forward by India. That is how India is preparing itself to tackle antimicrobial resistance. So to prevent if you look at India's initiative, it says to prevent the over-the-counter sales of antibiotics, the Central Drug Standard Control Organization prohibits medical stores from selling 24 key antibiotics without a doctor's prescription. It means there are 24 selected antibiotic medicines, and this medicine, the 24 medical medicines has selected by Central Drug Standard Control Organization, and it is dictating that without doctor's prescription, no medical shop can sell these 24 key antibiotics to the public. First point, it is a great initiative, no? Second point, if you like, India's red line campaign. Red line campaign, it means what? This red line campaign demands that prescription only antibiotics be marked with a red line to discourage the over the counter sale of antibiotics is a step forward. Wherever antibiotics is prescribed, so there will be red line and people will stand over there. So automatically it will goes that the consumption of antibiotics is a dangerous thing, and probably by their mental now they can be agreed to that not to consume more antibiotics. So India's red line campaign is one of the great initiative. Then third point, if you see, it says National Health Policy 2070 terms antimicrobial resistance is one of the key healthcare issues and priorities the development of guidelines regarding antibiotics use and check on restricting the growth of antibiotics. Then the National Action Plan on Antimicrobial Resistance 2017, then FSSAI has set certain guidelines limiting to antibiotics in food and products such as fish and honey. Again, this point can be very important. So please mark it. India's initiative. So this is the way forward. Apart from this, you can also add some way forward that you find it is necessary. Okay, so this much regarding this topic. Now we'll see Tamagotchi generation. Now for some facts, this is for your preliminary examination. Although we discussed MCQ, but there are some facts, so you can just note it down. Tamagotchi generation, it means what? Tamagotchi generation. Tamagotchi generation means, just remember one point. This is it is related to your digital offspring. Digital offspring. So when you get a question on Tamagotchi generation and where is the option, you find digital offspring. So please mark it correct. The name Tamagotchi comes from digital pet created by Japanese toy manufacturer Bandai. Okay. So this is about this much. Then second thing is about your (1972) Stockholm Conference. Okay, 1972 Stockholm Conference. So I'll just explain you. This 1972 Stockholm Conference was the first world conference to make the environment a major issue. So as far as your environmental issues is concerned, this Stockholm Conference 1972 is the first step to check the environmental concerns. Second, the participants adopted a series of principles for sound management of the environment, including the Stockholm Declaration and action plan for the human environment and several resolutions. The second point is saying that during your 1972 Stockholm Conference, the major decisions they took are like Stockholm Declaration and action plan, Stockholm Declaration and action plan for the human environment and several other resolutions. Now third point, if you see, this conference, the 1972 Stockholm Conference marked the start of dialogue between industrialized and developing countries. So who pollute more? It is the industrialized countries. So there are for the first time there was the concerns between industrialized countries and the developing countries regarding environment. So this 1972 Stockholm Conference marked the start of dialogue between industrialized and developing countries on the link between economic growth, the pollution of the air, water and oceans, and the well-being of the people around the world. Next point, this conference, that is this 1972 Stockholm Conference, was about the fallout of industrialization and how to cope and mitigate these harmful impacts. One of the major results of the Stockholm Conference was the creation of United Nations Environment Program. This is the great achievement of this 1972 Stockholm Conference, and this point is you can use for the preliminary examination, your preliminary test examination, that the United Nations Environment Program was the United Nations Environment Program came out through which conference? So answer to this question is 1972 Stockholm Conference, right? The second important facts you can point out that Indira Gandhi was the only head of the government other than that of the host country Sweden to attend and speak at the meeting. Okay. So apart from this, there are significance to it. So please go through the PPT. Now the third fact I will discuss is the leadership for industry transition, that is lead IT. Like this term, no, this lead IT, it can be framed a preliminary questions. How? Recently the concept, the word lead IT was in the news, and this word relates to which of the following? I repeat, the concept or word like this, like lead IT, can be asked in your preliminary examination. How? The question can be framed like this: recently the word or the concept lead IT was in the news, and this word or the concept relates to which of the following, and option will be A, B, C, D. Okay. So now we will discuss it. This lead IT, that is leadership for industry transition, was launched by the governments of Sweden and India at the UN Climate Action Summit in September 2019, and it's supported by World Economic Forum. I repeat, it was launched by coordination of two governments, Sweden and India, at UN Climate Action Summit in September 2019, and this program or this summit was supported by World Economic Forum. Second, it lays specific focus on hard to abate sectors that are key stakeholders in the global climate action and require specific interventions. Third, Japan and South Africa, the latest members of the initiative, were welcomed. This extends the total membership of lead IT to 37, including countries and companies together. So again, this can be your preliminary facts. Like, who are the new members of lead IT? So Japan and South Africa are the new members of lead IT. I repeat, the questions can be asked that who are the new members to lead IT, and this question is Japan and South Africa are the new members to lead IT. Second question can be asked that what is the number of members of lead IT? Your answer to this question is 37. Answer to this question is 37. So total number of members of lead IT is 37. 37. Next point, it gathers countries and companies that are committed to action to achieve the Paris Agreement. Again, this program is working for what? To achieve the goals that is set in the Paris Agreement. Again, this can be a preliminary point. Next, lead IT members subscribe to the notion that energy intensive industry can and must progress on low carbon pathways, aiming to achieve net zero carbon emission by 2050. So this lead IT is aiming to net zero carbon emissions by which of the following year? In preliminary examination, this can be question. The question will be, the lead IT aims at net zero carbon emission by which year? So answer to this question will be again 2050. Okay. Okay, so this is your preliminary, some extra facts. Now there is a question. So I hope it is visible to all of you that the question is, the crisis of Kashmir is embedded in the crisis of the development in Kashmir. Comment, and you have to write within 150 words. The question is, the crisis of Kashmir is embedded in crisis of the development in Kashmir. Comment in 150 words. So this question is asking, what is the relations between development and problems of Kashmir? It means how or why development is not happening in Kashmir, or which is prohibiting for the development of Kashmir. Okay. But first we will look some positive points of Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir. If you look at the survey of National Family Health Survey, National Family Health Survey 2015-16 of 4th round, right? And if you go and see the development indicators, then in compared to all India averages, first point, in compared to all India averages and other insurgency affected states like Assam, Nagaland, Manipur and Chhattisgarh, in the development indicators, Jammu and Kashmir is performing much better than them. Jammu and Kashmir is performing much better than them. First point. Again, if you look at the socio-economic indicators, first we will look at development indicators, now we will look at socio-economic indicators. Socio-economic indicators. The socio-economic indicators of Jammu and Kashmir is improving because whatever the government of India spends or allocates to all the states of this country, out of that 10% funds go to Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, 10% funds go to Jammu and Kashmir. And see, what is the population of Jammu and Kashmir? 1%. 1% of population. 1% of population of the country. This 1% population of the country, and this fund is going of what? 10% fund of the country. So because of this, the socio-economic indicators are stronger. But what are the problems? Why development is not happening in Jammu and Kashmir? What is the major concerns? The development is not taking place in Jammu and Kashmir. So we will analyze that. So now we will see the problems that inhibiting development in Jammu and Kashmir. Problems that inhibiting development in Jammu and Kashmir. The first problem is problems of students. Problem of students, or you can like educational problems. Educational problems. How? So in Jammu and Kashmir, every day you will find there is some protest, there is something happening. So because of this, there is lack of access to quality education due to curfews, protest and targeting of schools by the terrorists. Targeting by the schools by the terrorists. First point. Second, problem of youth. Problem of youth. Problem of youth. The youths are indoctrinated and misguided towards the stone pelting. Stone pelting. Third point, there is employment generation issue. Employment generation issue. Even though there is the employment problems across the India, but in Jammu and Kashmir, if you look, there is the great challenges for your employment or job creation. Next point is problem of mental distress. Problem of mental distress. According to two bodies, that is International Humanitarian Organization and Doctors Without Borders, 45% adults are suffering from mental distress and 19% adult population are suffering from PSTD, that is post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay. Next is your investment problem. Like in Odisha, you will find corporates come and they invest here, like Bangalore, People go, the corporates go over there, they invest there. But in Jammu and Kashmir, it's very difficult. No, the corporates or the industrialist people, they don't go and don't invest over in Jammu and Kashmir. As a result of that, job is not created. Job is not created. Okay. Next problem is problems of conflict. 6th number, problems of conflict. In Jammu and Kashmir, there is always conflict. Every day there will be terrorist attack and there will be stone pelting by the youth. So, it leads to conflict. So, yes, if you see the development indicators and socio-economic indicators, they are doing good in comparison to other states, but the development is not happening because of this mentioned parameters or these points. According to these points, development is not happening in Jammu and Kashmir. Okay. So, this was your answer writing session. So, with this, I conclude today's current affairs session. Thank you all.